Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Family Empire Houston. This is Season 1, Episode 4. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video and also subscribe to my channel if you are new. And also, you can leave your comments below. Okay, so I have some thoughts. So we'll get into where we left off. Of course, the sister cousins are talking about Lakeisha sending this long text about feeling ambushed and we find out in this episode that Lakeisha can be private. I'm putting quotations there because I may have some things to say later on. Some points were made when I watched Miss Bell Perspective. Y'all can go check her out. As to possibly how Keisha moves on certain stuff or how she moves in relationships. Being private or secretive can be tricky because sometimes it can come off as being manipulative. And you're saying you're private, but then you're leaving out certain things that could possibly implicate you or change the narrative on what you're trying to put out there. Shout out to Miss Bell again, but we'll get into that in just a second. So they're talking, and then Lakeisha and Caramel, they come in. Caramel goes to the bathroom, and Lakeisha starts talking to the family. I think she wanted to get a head start to start talking about the stuff, and Caramel was giving her time to do what she needed to do. They were like, what is this long text? From what I was seeing, and I could have took some screenshots, but I didn't. It looks like Lakeisha was mad. Why are y'all bringing all this stuff up a year later? Blah, 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 blah. She did start off by saying, I love you guys. I think that was cool. I think that was like, however, why are you bringing up this mess now? You guys could have talked to me. Y'all didn't say nothing. Y'all just let this go. Like, what? And I get that you wanted to respect her because her mother has died. I get all that. I just think some of these flags are kind of odd. Because if you want to still talk about flags amongst yourself, and then y'all have this private thing amongst yourself as to why you don't really click with the girlfriend, it's kind of like, okay, like you're holding something against someone that they don't even know that something is being held against them. And then she withdraws herself. Then y'all say that she's just not there, but there's got to be some type of attitude or something that you're giving off that would allow Caramel to reduce herself and be an ornament, as you guys have said, ladies have said, you know. So, as I said last week, I don't think that was all on Caramel's side as to why she was even standing back. Obviously, she felt a certain type of way, and she decided to just stay back there. So, but anyways, they get into it. Caramel joins back in. We find out that an ex was reaching out to Lakeisha after her mom passed. And it was prompted by Aunt Lisa. Or is it Aunt Lisa? Is it Lisa? Lord. If it isn't, you know, I ain't gonna say the good auntie. The auntie that's always around, that's there with the G1s and G2s. She contacted the ex-girlfriend and said, hey, mom's passed away and possibly Lakeisha needs your support. So all we're hearing in this whole conversation, or now coming into somewhat of an argument or debate, is that the ex-girlfriend was calling. And Caramel blew up because the ex-girlfriend was calling back to back. I'm confused still because it's like, so a phone call was enough to make you go crazy or be kind of crazy while she was grieving or whatever? Because it doesn't just seem like it's that simple. Jaquita, I keep saying Quista. Jaquita ended up kind of breaking stuff down to kind of allude to probably what Lakeisha has been going through, or what she is, or how she operates. And it looks like Lakeisha has been kind of this player in these streets. The player has not really left Keisha all the way, at least during that time. Because, again, why are laws made? Laws are made for the lawless people. If there is no law, then that means that everything is fine. Boundaries are made when something has been broken as far as trust. So I believe, in Caramel's defense, she reacted based upon past behavior. Meaning it looks like Lakeisha was still kind of playing the field a little bit, or being still detached to people that she should not have been if she was moving on in a new relationship. Whether she cheated or not, we don't know. And we'll probably never know. But Lisa was like, I thought I was doing something right. I thought that possibly she needed someone and being a good deed. How things were going, Nicole was like, again, what we were saying is that at the time it was a hang up for us with you, Caramel, because you did it at an inappropriate time to go off. If I caught my husband cheating and his mother just died, I'm not going to put it in his face. I'm not going to react right then and there. I get what Nicole is saying. However, you're going to treat a spouse probably different than someone that is your girlfriend, or if you've made it to partner status, possibly. But as far as I know, they've only been together for a couple of years now. That's kind of stuff that you do that's some biblical stuff, when you cover the sins. Not so much that you're not going to deal with it, it's just to protect that person at that time, to not expose it to people or whatever, or even give him unnecessary stress or unnecessary whatever on him while he's trying to grieve his mother. I can look at it both ways. I just don't see where it compares as far as wherever her relationship was with Lakeisha at the time. Was it the right time to kind of deal with it? Maybe not. Obviously, Caramel had some triggers, and she ended up doing something that she was reactionary to. I don't know. I just don't. Of course, everybody's looking on the outside in, and I think that was still unfair, because it's like, well, y'all have judged her, but y'all never really want to talk to her. Y'all kept that for over a year. That's the thing. That's my problem. Of course, you guys want to move forward, and I'm so glad about that. But it's just like how I would look at it, like, so all this time, how you've been feeling and how I thought you guys were feeling towards me is something that wasn't really my fault, and I was judged for that. And I would feel some type of way, because it's like, okay, y'all could have said something. I'm sorry. This thing is not a black and white situation. I just don't think that Caramel should have been held at something that wasn't really her fault. So Lakeisha at this point is really frustrated, because it's just kind of going around in a circle about what happened. And Lakeisha said, I don't want to talk about this no more. Don't bring this up no more, blah, 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 blah. Now, 1 minute we're hearing, oh, Lakeisha is sensitive. Well, isn't Nicole sensitive too? And then we hear, no, that was probably a trigger. Y'all were bringing up her mother. I said, duh. Anyways, Lakeisha and Carmel, they leave. They didn't like that she ran out, but at the same time, she was triggered. At this point, Aunt Lisa, she is crying, because she feels like she's to blame that started this whole mess. She thought she was doing a good deed. I don't think necessarily Aunt Lisa meant anything negative or wanted to stir the pot about anything about this. But I just think that if y'all knew that, why did y'all hold it against her like that, though? That's bothering me, though. I'm sorry. And I've been on this subject for too long, but that's bothering me. I'm sorry. I would feel some type of way if I was the partner, because it's like, whatever. They wanted to move forward. That's cool. Whatever. Okay. So Justin, he gives his band. He does his set. Of course, he was upset that the ladies were carrying on like that, and Jermisha does bring that up later on. But let me move on, because I kind of stayed way too long on this. Sorry. Sorry about that. We move on to, I think it was Jermisha and Aunt Lisa. She talks with Aunt Lisa and says, hey, I got a plan. I got to sit down with Aunt Cheryl. And is it Shirley? I don't know if it's Shirley, but two of them. and I have this plan and how to get everything together. Da 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 da. Lisa said, it's a good plan. I think that you are the eldest in the group. No offense to Nicole, but I think that they'll listen to you. I think I'm understanding Nicole and Granny's relationship. They are in sync in a way. Y'all remember Soul Food, Big Mama and Ahmad? They didn't even have to say stuff to each other, but they connected and understood each other in a way that the others didn't. And I think that Nicole and Miss Oscarine have this special bond. And she's there to protect her and all that good stuff. But if you guys think about it, you might be able to connect that to that. But anyways, yeah, they just think that Jamisha is the one. Jamisha, I like her. Like, even how she talks. Like, it's a way that she presents things that are kind of interesting to me, I like it. I like how like when she was just bringing the whole presentation. I don't know if I know she does real estate. I don't know if she does public speaking or whatever, but she's very good at it. And that could be something that she could add to her resume. So anyways, we move on from there. Nicole and Jamisha, they start talking. Hey, I haven't heard from Chris. And we need to go on and do something. We need this contract drawn up. Jamisha's like, okay, cool. But just to know he's still my brother-in-law and all that. But it's like, does feelings actually pay the bills? I think that's how she said it. Like, no. Like, you got to really separate business from family a lot of times. And Chris does not show up at the job at this time. I mean, he's been telling us already he hasn't been feeling respected. And that's fair. Whatever. You want to feel that, feel that. But they're going to draw up this contract. Now, on the other side of town, what's going on? Oh. Monet and Jaquita and Lakeisha, they are working out. Lakeisha brings donuts. They ain't trying to take this all serious, but whatever. At this point, they wanted to see how Lakeisha was doing. She said, I did call Aunt Lisa just to see how she was doing after the whole thing. And they said, okay, good, because she was feeling a way regarding that. Nobody's blaming her for what transpired. But then they also said, what do you guys think about therapy? Because there's a lot of stuff that needs to really go down and really discussed. And I think it's time for them to do that. I know Nicole and Lakeisha said that they were moving forward and all that. I think that there's so much more that they need to talk about. Because how could y'all go for so long period of time having these walls up and then one simple conversation and it's like, oh, we're good, we're sisters, we're happy and we're singing and we're colored? Probably not, So I'm glad that they're going to move forward with therapy. All right, so Jamisha, Nicole, Chris, and Jaquita, they meet up. Nicole has drawn up this contract and has given Chris his new duties. She's listing it off, and even the producers have already kind of dramatized what's going on, or dramatized what's going on. And it's like she was going on this list. He needs to do this. And Nicole is in this, hey, you wanted to be in charge and all that? Well, here's all of your duties. All of these responsibilities is on him. New added responsibilities. And the pay does not change. And he's like, wait, whoa. That's not cool. I'm doing way more. But then she said that she checked it out with other media managers or creative managers, and right now he's making the same pay as them. So it looks like y'all been fools all this time, in my opinion, for paying him this much. For what? So now he has to suffer the consequences, add more onto his plate to get done, and no more pay compensation because of whatever. No, I don't think that that's fair. And Chris doesn't think it's fair. It's like, this is some type of 360 contract. These little 360 contracts in the music industry, like what Cardi and them is in, where you can't get out of. Megan Thee Stallion was the latest one to get out of the 360 deal, which is basically you're not making anything out of it, and they treat you like a slave. They will work you and 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 work you, and it doesn't really benefit you. So right now it's a no-go. At this point, Chris is avoiding Nicole's phone calls and all this good stuff, blah, 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 blah. On the other side of town, again, Jaquita and Chris is having their anniversary. Chris is nowhere to be found to help in making this anniversary good or anything. He doesn't implement anything. So Jaquita went on and made the proper things set up. They were going to have this dinner, and also there's going to be some dancing lessons. Which I find it weird, Chris, that you're bowing out when you are a creative person. Creativity should not stop out of you for a paycheck. And the biggest paycheck that you got is with your family. So your family should get the best of you and not your job. I mean, am I right or wrong? Like that's not cool. So I was like, oh, I still love you, Chris, but I'm like, come on, make this day special for her and for you, if you guys had input. So anyways, the day of their anniversary, Chris is late. He said he was like 8 minutes out. So Jaquita started dancing or getting taught lessons by the dance instructor. And then Chris comes in and they're teaching him how to lead and how Jaquita needs to let him lead. So it was a lot of learning lessons at how to function within this relationship. Finally, they do have dinner and they start talking a little bit about where he sees himself and all of that, and I guess for the last 3 or 4 years or so, Chris has been stagnant. He had this job with the oil company in 9 to 5, and since then he's been stagnant, and Jaquita has been wanting the marriage to grow. We've had some goals and all of that, and it's not really done because you've been doing more of the entrepreneur thing only, and that's been with the company or whatever. And she's just not the type of person that's just going to carry the weight. And Chris was like, I know that, and that's not what I'm prepared to do. And she said, well, when you did lose your job, I was carrying your weight. So on the flip side, of course, I love Chris. And it looks like family came through for you in this job. I think in some ways that you're going to have to step up in this situation. If you're planning on staying with Braden. That's all I can say. Because your family needs you. And your wife is very graceful. I see that. And she's a wife. I love it. I love it about her. She's able to be assertive, but not overbearing as far as what I've seen thus far. She's going to state her opinion and still have respect for you. And it doesn't seem like she dogs you out, because right now it looks like her income is what's really paying a lot of the bills. Not saying that yours isn't, and you're getting a good salary thus far, but it looks like she's carrying a lot. And she wants you to be, she was giving you opportunity to be the man, the husband, the father that you want to be and what you should be for the family. I thought it was a good talk, really good talk. He said that he doesn't know if he wants to continue with Braden in the way that it's going, because he's not going to sign this 360 deal. And she's like, you need to be careful of just saying no, because you don't have any, do you have another plan, basically. So Chris finally answers back to Nicole, and now they're going to meet again. And we see in the upcoming previews that Chris says that, or was it in this episode? I forgot, whatever. He said, I'm not signing your contract, but I have my own contract that I would love for you to look at. And let's see how we can meet and get this done. That was the end of the episode. I did enjoy it. Am I still confused with some of the Lakeisha stuff? Yeah. And maybe I'll understand a little bit more when they do therapy. That's also in the next episode. Just an announcement from what I've been told is that Family Empire is going on a hiatus, I think, for a month. It's for the Olympics that's happening. So I'm hearing next month it's going to come back on again. So we got at least a few weeks to a break, and we'll find out when the next episode is. But that's all I do have. Leave your comments below. Do you have any comments about Lakeisha and this whole caramel thing, and even how the family has handled it? Any thoughts about Chris? I want the best for him, and I'm rooting for him and his family. I don't know. I got a soft spot for Chris, so I like him. And I don't think that he means to do any harm to anyone. And I think he's still an upstanding man. Y'all think Jamisha gonna win? Because there was a preview of them, of her talking with the other aunties. So y'all think that she gonna win them over? Who knows? But leave your comments below. Again, I appreciate everyone's support. I do really thank you for coming by. Please leave your likes, and also if you're not already, subscribe to my channel and your comments again below. Until the next one, peace.